Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, like I said, been gone for a few days, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So it's a few things been going down. I figured I must address one of these subjects. It's been going on for a while, maybe about a week, and that's some pretty big wigs in the world of boxing. And that would be like Bob Arum. I might mention in this also a little Oscar De La Hoya. I'm definitely going to mention Al Haymon, right? And what we've been going on, we heard Bob Arum. He's pretty aggressive right now because he seems to want the Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence fight. So he's calling Al Haymon, the main man at PBC, call him the cancer of boxing, right? And a fictional character is another thing. It doesn't know if he exists. And so it just made me think, well, I better address that a little bit. Because, a fictional character, are you about to sue a fictional character? Right? You about to sue a fictional character? Because let's all rewind. All Bob Arum and Oscar De La Hoya, when Al Haymon was trying to put boxing free on TV, these guys tried to sue him. Major. For a whole lot. That fictional character doesn't exist, they're about to sue him. Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, that fight was made with both of these bridges being crossed with the same fictional character. That fictional character has over 100 boxers under his, under his wings or whatever you want to call it. I don't know nobody else that got that. That fictional character, right? So now he's the cancer of boxing because somebody wants something from that same fictional character, right? Let me just tell you my opinion. I done told y'all about Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence. It's the same. It's consistent with what I say about Andre Ward versus Kovalev and Adonis Stevenson. And my point is, Terrence Crawford that moved up to the division and wants to get busy. You see? He wants to get busy, no doubt about it. But Errol Spence and them need to clean up that mess. All that Sean Porter and all that other stuff going on. And then after they get that cleared up, then I want to see, because when Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford fight, I want it to be for the undisputed title and nothing less, because that's what it should be. All that other stuff is going around, and Keith Thurman and Sean Paul, get that stuff squared away, you three. So Terrence Crawford can handle one of you guys, because he deserves that. That's my point about that. But back to Bob Arum. Now you want something, right? Boxing, we love it, but it's not as big as principle and things that are just way broader and way more important. If you ask me, do I want to see Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford, or would I like to see, for example, Golden Boy Promotions and Ring Magazine tell Al Haymon in an open letter that they're sorry for calling him a nigger in an email? Address that and tell him he's sorry. What would I rather see? It's not even close. So just because Bob Arum wants something now, sour grapes. And then he doesn't know how to act, so he's calling them names. So you just hold up. I'm pretty sure Al Haymon and them is like, well, whatever. Whatever. We're going to keep doing what we're doing because we don't need you. That's probably what's happening. Now, people of color, we're not vindictive. We're very forgiving. If we wasn't, we'd be problems in the streets on the daily. Well, we're forgiving. But sometimes you got to let them know, every time, we're not going to continue to need you. Because Al Haymon's idea in the first place was a good one. So there was no reason to be trying to sue him and get him out of there for no reason. Right? And then all of a sudden start working with him. And then not. Now that you're not, now he's this. So at the end of the day, Al Haymon don't need to listen. And let me tell you something too about Al Haymon. Right? Don't know the man. But, he's looking at what's going on in America. We all know what time it is. Just because Trump, it's just out there in the open. But it's been going on. Most channels have been talking about this for years. We know what time it is with boxes of colors and why things are going on like that. And Bob Arum was over there at HBO calling the wrong people pound for pound number one and the best fighters in the world, while these fighters, wherever they were, PBC and even the Bob Arum right now, has Terrence Crawford and Lomachenko, but he cannot categorically say Terrence Crawford's number one pound for pound. Now, can he? I need to hear things like that to where for me to get a little empathy for Bob Arum's problem. You know what I'm saying? It's just the way it is. Right? Because Terrence Crawford is without a doubt, with 3 times as many fights and undefeated, he's the #1 guy and undisputed. Lomachenko is a great fighter, and we're projecting, but he's not just because he's a great fighter. They've been calling him #1, pound for pound, and probably the greatest of all time, sitting right next to Roy Jones Jr. That's blasphemous. Roy Jones, when you talk about the best fighter ever, Roy Jones' name has to be the first name off on that you say. You can go back to Henry Armstrong and Sugar Ray Robinson and all that. Roy Jones still with them too, right? It took him 50 fights to finally lose. And then after coming down from heavyweight, from junior middle all the way up to heavyweight, right? And then he goes back down and mess with Tarver, and then things start getting messed up, right? Going back down, because he didn't even go back down to cruiser. He went back down to light heavy from heavy after beating Ruiz. Man, whatever. And then we never seen nothing like Lomachenko. Man, we just seen it a few months ago. Get the hell out of here. Roy Jones, easily. And I'm telling you, without knowing, they had to pay Roy Jones to be quiet about that and not get outraged every time he hears that. And the people around him, everybody on TV had to be paid, because what happens is you can go back and see all of those people do interviews about who they think the best fighter in the world is, or ever, that they've ever seen. And they would say Roy Jones. And all of a sudden now you see Loma and you've never seen things. Yeah, right? Well, Salido thinks he saw him. You know, Salido got 13 losses and he saw enough to beat this guy. So a guy that lost that quick cannot be in front of a guy who has 3 times as many fights he does. Right? It just doesn't. He's a great fighter, but you won't put him in front of this guy until, for example, he goes up in weight and fights him. But we even heard Lomachenko say he doesn't want to do that. Now I'm talking back when old boy was at 135, Terrence Crawford 135 and 140. Lomachenko, what did he call it, guys? What does his team call fighting Terrence Crawford? They called it suicide. Now, if you just say, oh, well, he's bigger than him. Well, anybody in the same weight division, he wasn't saying suicide about nobody else. So I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying. So when you're talking about Al Haymon is not showing his face. He's a fictional character because he gets hate because people heard he's black. If he shows his face and they see him and he talks, it's going to get worse for his endeavors. And he's intelligent enough and profound enough to know that. That's all this is about. And you guys excuse yourself and say sorry to him. Show that you remorse for the things that you've done. But you don't. Now his other names. He's expecting this man to work. Man, listen. If he's anything like me, he ain't even here to listen to y'all. That's probably what's happening. All them 100 fighters, from 100 fighters, I've heard maybe one, and that is Matarosa. Only one I've heard that's been disgruntled, messing with Al Haymon. People, this fictional character, the boxers are naming their kids after that fictional character. All right, by the way. So, whatever when that goes. And that Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence, yeah, it's unfortunate. We like to see Undisputed. We like to see that. But we saw Undisputed with Terrence Crawford, and PBC, y'all need to hurry up. Ain't nobody, definitely. All these fights and people y'all letting Sean Porter and Danny Garcia take forever not to fight, not to force them to fight your boy Errol Spence, and the sanctioning bodies taking all day, strip people and get them to get Undisputed. I agree. We need to accelerate Undisputed, right? Some kind of way. All these networks and all that stuff that they're doing around, I think that people need to, the road to Undisputed should be a theme that most of the networks and everyone should get behind. And the sanctioned bodies as well. But they won't, because they all have their own agenda. But that's not going to be Al Haymon's fault, right? Because all these people have been doing that before. He has 10 times many fighters as both of these cats. Bob Arum and your boy here with Canelo and nobody else. Oscar De La Hoya. And they always call the name. They mad about the PBC right now because the PBC going to be making fights. And y'all got a couple of guys, right? A couple of guys. And now all of a sudden you want to fight and everybody's supposed to be listening to you. But at the meantime, while you thought you were on top, you acted like someone who thought they were on top and entitled. And now, because you've been spoiled, what do spoiled people do? They start screaming when they don't get what they want. And that's just typically what that is. And if sometimes the parents just let them scream. And that's what Al Haymon's doing with his fictional self. Doma Sports Talk, worldwide. And I'm about here, y'all.